Hello, my dear children. Children, today we are going to read chapter 2 further and understand the different types of demand. Having understood the meaning of demand and the difference between demand and desire and want, now let us understand the types of demand. The first one is joint demand. See, children, this demand is called joint because this demand is the demand for those commodities which are demanded in pairs or maybe with some other commodity. For example, if I talk about a pen, if you go and purchase a pen, then with the pen you will certainly get the ink, or maybe for example a lead pencil. So with the lead pencil, the demand of lead will also be there. Okay, for example, if you wish to or if you demand a DVD player, okay, then the demand for DVD is a joint demand. Means that some things they are demanded jointly. Okay, we also call it complementary demand. Complementary demand means these goods are complementary, means if you purchase a car you have to buy petrol or diesel. So this is the demand for petrol is complementary. If you buy a car you have to buy petrol. So this is a complementary demand. Okay, then second one is the composite demand. Now composite means that demand for a commodity which can be used or put to use for several uses. For example, if I talk about say milk, okay, now milk is a commodity which can be put to various uses. It can be used by dairy business, okay, and it can also be used for household consumption, okay, and milk can also be used for by the commercial purposes, like people who have shops of sweets, they use milk. Okay, so milk has various uses. All right, so it is also used in preparing cheese. So the demand for milk is also a composite demand, meaning that it is the demand of this commodity is such that it has got various uses. Composite means more than one. Okay, for example, again another example which I can think of is mobile phones. Okay, so mobile phone demand of mobile phone is also a composite demand. Mobiles can be used for various uses. Again, another example which I can think of for composite demand is that of land. Okay, we can also think about land can also be put to various uses. Then I can also think about uses of wheat. So the demand for wheat is also a composite demand because it can be used for various purposes. It can be used for household consumption. It can also be used for making bread. It can also be used for exporting. All right. So things that have got various uses, their demand is a composite demand. I hope it's understandable. Let's move on to the third one, that is the direct demand. Now the word itself says the demand for such commodities which are directly demanded by the consumer. The consumer directly demands it. Okay, for example, if I say example is maybe you can say demand for clothes, okay, demand for food, okay, they are directly demanded for by the consumers. All right, they are not associated with any commodity, or they don't have various uses. They might have composite uses also, they might have various uses, but they satisfy the human want directly. If a person is hungry, he will purchase food, so directly his demand will be satisfied. So such commodities have got a direct demand. But this demand is also called autonomous demand. Okay, why this is called autonomous? Auto means one. Okay, so autonomous demand means that this satisfies in a single go the demand of a consumer. Okay, now derived demand, children, this is again a very important concept, and this is new to you, so I am explaining you with the help of example. For example, if I say, let me take the example which is a very simple one. If you say, if you have to construct a house, okay, this is a house that you want to construct. All right. Now, if you want to construct a house, you need labor, you need sand and bricks, okay, you need some machines, okay, you also need electricity. So these are the things that are needed for the construction of a house. Now children, if you have to construct this house, okay, now the demand for labor or demand for sand and bricks or demand for electricity or machines, it is going to depend upon the demand for this house. Okay, meaning that when the demand of certain commodities, it depends on certain the other thing, that is called a derived demand. Derived means you are obtaining it from something. Okay, so derived demand refers to those the demand of those quantity commodities whose demand depends on the demand of any other factor of production or any other commodity. Okay, for example, again, I hope you have understood this thing. Okay, if this house is not in demand, then obviously this labor will not be demanded. If this house is not in very much demand, then obviously the demand of machines is also going to go down. So the demand for machine, labor, electricity, sand and bricks, it is a derived demand. Okay, then the next one is competitive demand. Competitive has come from the word competition, children. Now competitive demand, if I just have some space for explaining, if I say this competitiveness, if I talk about say beverages. Now all of you know what beverages are, some kind of liquid that people take during meals. So if we talk about evening beverages, say for example tea and coffee, okay, some prefer milk over tea and coffee. Clear? So these are some of the beverages that I've written. Now competitive demand refers to the demand of commodities which are substitutes. For example, if a person is drinking tea and he starts loving the flavor of tea, so the demand for coffee will decrease and demand for tea will increase. Okay, so what we will say is that the demand for coffee is a competitive demand, means it depends on the substitute. For example, in future, if the person starts loving the flavor of coffee and he switches on from tea to coffee, then the demand for tea is going to go down and demand for coffee is going to go up because he started liking coffee. Okay, so in this case, we say that it is a competitive demand. When we are talking about substitutes, okay, clear? All right. Now we also have to discuss with you individual demand and market demand. So children, as the name says, individual is now whenever we are defining demand, always remember we are going to talk in terms of quantity demanded at a particular price at a given time period, within a given time period. So this is how we are going to write. Okay, so if I say individual demand refers to individual demand refers to the quantity demanded. This is how we are going to write, children. All right. So the individual demand refers to the quantity demanded by an individual, as the name says, individual. So by an individual, okay, or individual household, okay. That an individual consumer at a given price during a given, so this at a given price during a given time period. Okay, so whenever you are giving the definition of demand, then you have to be very careful of writing the keywords quantity demanded at a given price and over a given time period, during a given time period. Clear? So individual demand refers to the quantity demanded by individual. Market demand, on the other hand, refers to the quantity demanded by the all the individuals in the market taken as a whole. All right. So when we are going to add the individual one quantity demanded with individual two quantity, then that will be referred to as market demand. Okay. So children, I have covered the types of demand from your book. Kindly go through it and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.